Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon. General Hospital spoilers, Alexis clues Sonny into Ava's dirty dealing. General Hospital spoilers tease that Sonny Corinthos, Morris Bernard, dumped Nina Reeves, Cynthia Watros, when he discovered that Nina had anonymously tipped off the SEC that Carly Spencer, Laura Wright, had committed insider trading along with Drew Kane, Cameron Matheson. Sonny and Carly may have ended their marriage, but Carly and Sonny shared children, so he looked at Nina's actions as a betrayal of his family. Nina didn't tell Sonny that Iva Jerome, Maura West, was the one who suggested that Nina make the call. General Hospital spoilers, Alexis Davis made a disturbing discovery. Meanwhile, Alexis Davis, Nancy Lee Grant, has been on a quest to get law license reinstated. She committed perjury by lying under oath to a medical board in order to save Dr. Neil Burns' Joe Flanagan career. Someone notified the Bar Association of New York and filed a complaint with them, which is why Alexis was disbarred. Even though this happened a couple years ago, Alexis just discovered it was Ava who filed the complaint. Alexis and Sonny also share a daughter, Christina Corinthos Davis, Kate Mancy. GH spoilers, Alexis Davis wants revenge. During a confrontation with Ava, Alexis vowed that Ava would regret messing with her. While she may go through official channels to get her revenge, it might be simpler for her just to tell Sonny exactly what Ava did. If Nina also tells Sonny that it was Ava who suggested she turn in Carly, Ava might find herself in very deep trouble with Sonny. This would come as a terrible blow to Ava, who in recent weeks has made it her mission to isolate Sonny from everyone but her. Just this information alone would likely cause Sonny to at the very least kick Ava out of his home, but that isn't the end of Ava's duplicity. General Hospital spoilers, Ava Jerome knows a secret. Recently, Ava has discovered that Sonny's bipolar medication has been altered so that he's only receiving about a quarter of his prescribed dosage. Although Ava isn't responsible for the medication situation, she has also kept quiet, knowing that Sonny is struggling with his mental health and is causing drastic mood swings. Once Sonny finds this out, combined with Alexis and Nina's possible revelations, means that Ava could soon find herself Sonny's next target and end up buried in the Pine Barrens. GH spoilers, what do you think? Did Ava have any business filing a complaint against Alexis? Will Alexis tell Sonny what Ava did to her? And could Ava soon find herself on the outside looking in on Sonny's inner circle? Anything can happen in Port Charles, so stay tuned to General Hospital, airing weekdays on ABC. In the bustling halls of General Hospital, the air was thick with tension and unspoken secrets. Nurses hustled from one patient to another, doctors barked orders, and somewhere amidst the chaos, two old friends were about to have a conversation that could change everything. Alexis Davis, always sharp-witted and poised, despite the constant turmoil in her life, had just uncovered a piece of information that made her blood run cold. She knew she had to tell Sonny Corinthos immediately. Sonny, the ever-dominant figure of Port Charles, was no stranger to dirty dealings. As the head of one of the most powerful crime families, he had seen and done things that would make the average person shudder. However, the news Alexis was about to deliver would test his alliances and perhaps even his notorious control. Alexis found Sonny in his usual spot, a private corner of the hospital's cafeteria, away from prying eyes and eager ears. His face was a mask of calm, but Alexis could see the subtle tension in his jaw. He sensed something big was coming. She slid into the seat opposite him and leaned in, her voice barely above a whisper. "Sonny, we need to talk. It's about Ava." Sonny's eyes narrowed. Ava Jerome, his longtime frenemy and occasional partner in crime, had always been a wild card. Beautiful, manipulative, and dangerous, Ava had a knack for getting herself into and out of trouble, but if Alexis was bringing her up, it meant something significant was at play. "What about Ava?" he asked, his voice low and steady. Alexis took a deep breath. I have reason to believe she's been involved in some very dirty dealings lately, and it's not just the usual shady business. This time, it's personal. It involves you and your family." Sonny leaned back, his mind racing. He had always kept a close eye on Ava, knowing she was a snake waiting for the right moment to strike. But Alexis' tone suggested this was more than a routine betrayal. "Tell me everything." Over the next few minutes, Alexis laid out the pieces of the puzzle she had painstakingly put together. It began with a seemingly innocuous conversation she had overheard between Iva and a mysterious man in a dark suit. They were discussing shipments and payments, but what caught Alexis' attention was the mention of Sonny's name. She did some digging and discovered that Ava had been facilitating a smuggling operation right under Sonny's nose. But it didn't stop there. The goods being moved weren't just contraband, they were weapons. Sonny's eyes darkened with anger as Alexis continued. "It looks like Ava's been working with someone on the inside, someone close to you. She's setting you up, Sonny. These weapons are meant to be traced back to you, to bring you down." Sonny's fists clenched, his mind a whirl of thoughts and emotions. Ava had always been ambitious and ruthless, but this was a new low, even for her. And the idea that someone in his inner circle could be betraying him was almost too much to bear. "Do you know who she's working with?" he asked, his voice tight with controlled rage. Alexis shook her head. "Not yet, but I'm working on it. We need to be careful, Sonny. Eva's smart, and if she realizes we're onto her, she could disappear, or worse, escalate her plans." Sonny nodded, his mind already strategizing the next steps. "I'll handle Ava, but we need to find out who her contact is. I'll have my people look into it. And Alexis, thank you for bringing this to me." Alexis reached out and touched his hand briefly. "Be careful, Sonny. Eva's playing a dangerous game, and she's not one to leave loose ends." As Sonny left the cafeteria, his thoughts were a maelstrom of fury and betrayal. Ava had made a grave mistake by targeting him and his family. He would make sure she regretted it, but first he needed to figure out who her inside man was. Back in her office, Alexis couldn't shake the feeling of unease. She had done the right thing by warning Sonny, but she knew this was just the beginning. Ava was a master manipulator, and she wouldn't go down without a fight. Alexis had to stay vigilant, not just for Sonny's sake, but for her own safety as well. Meanwhile, Ava was in her art gallery, sipping a glass of red wine, blissfully unaware that her carefully laid plans were starting to unravel. She had always been a step ahead, always the puppet master pulling the strings. But this time, she had underestimated her adversaries. The walls were closing in, and it was only a matter of time before Sonny came knocking. As the sun set over Port Charles, the stage was set for a confrontation that would shake the town to its core. Allies would be tested, secrets would be revealed, and in the end, only one thing was certain. Sonny Corinthos was not a man to be crossed. Ava Jerome was about to learn that lesson the hard way. The next few days were a whirlwind of covert meetings and whispered conversations.